Hey everybody, my name is Rydo and today we are starting Goosebumps the game. This is a 2015 copyright game as a prequel to the Goosebumps movie starring, I suppose, Jack Black. There was also some kid actors, but I don't suppose that they would have gotten top billing just because they probably hadn't been in more movies. We have some interesting bits here. Goosebumps is a series of books that I'm not super familiar with, sold by Scholastic, and each book is kind of a Stephen King-esque story, but for kids, so it's not too scary. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I vaguely recall that Stephen King may have actually written some, if not all, of the Goosebumps series. He certainly did make a prodigious amount of book writings and material, so I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen King did do it. However, speaking of books, there are some problems here just from the beginning. This game is actually programmed by Way Forward, and we'll talk about them in a second. Goosebumps being a registered trademark makes sense. But then having Scholastic Incorporated movie being a copyright makes no sense. I guess what they meant to say was the Goosebumps registered trademark copyright of Scholastic Incorporated, or they meant to say the Goosebumps movie is the copyright, but I mean, what they're effectively writing here, and since this is from Scholastic, they should have spell checked some of this, is that they own the copyright for a phrase called Scholastic Incorporated movie, which is crazy. But then take note here, they didn't put a space after the 2015. That makes no sense at all. And then CPII, no clue what that means, but it has a period in it. So is it an abbreviation or is it an end of a sentence? Doesn't look like a full sentence. I know the incorporated period here is a period for an abbreviation. And then it says all rights reserved period, and I suppose that could be a entire sentence. Of course, this is taking up a little bit too much of the main screen. In fact, frankly, none of it should be on the main screen. It would have been a lot easier and a lot better to just have a credits sequence. But yeah, that's some weird stuff, certainly. Now, to get the way forward, as we look at the bare minimum options of sound effects and music, at least you can separate those two. You can't adjust the screen resolutions, which I guess is fine for kids, but since this is a kids game, this is basically a point-and-click adventure game. That you might as well have the ability to go in the windowed mode and out of windowed mode and adjust the resolutions. Those are things that by default most people won't change, but you might as well let a kid adjust it if they do. I'm sure there's plenty of 12, 10, or even 10-year-olds that know, oh no, I want my resolution to be at 4K 60 frames per second, because it's something that certainly gets preached by a lot of people of the PC master race variety of type of people. Way Forward is a company that is kind of weird. They came out in 1990 and they took a lot of jobs, and it seems like they still take a lot of jobs as a office for hire. This clearly was an office for hire job, but then they do relatively a good job from what I've seen of their work, and it funds them to move forward. There are two main brands that they push, which is Mighty Switch Force and Shanti Half Genie Hero, which, okay, they've got some interesting. Shanti Half Genie Hero is kind of like Super Mario Brothers, except for on PC. It's the closest game I think I could pick out to say like Super Mario Brothers. The original Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3. type platformer games, and Mighty Switch Force tends to be a slightly different platformer style game. I'm not sure if there's a good equivalent there. Now, do we really need to spoil the Goosebumps movie since this is a prequel? No. I would just say that I have seen the Goosebumps movie, and it basically combines all the memorable characters from all of the Goosebumps books. Jack Black plays a person who is the author of all the Goosebumps books, and so it's in a world where the Goosebumps books existed, and then they magically become real throughout the process. That's probably what the trailer would have shown you too. So if this is going to be a prequel, it may simply be the setting up of what happened before that point. I think that's enough intro just so we know all the players. Scholastic is the book publishing company that owns a pretty big monopoly on books that are sold through book fairs in schools in the United States. The Scholastic Book Fair was literally a thing that was only Scholastic books, if I were to guess, and from what I recall, being sold to kids. And of course the schools are more than willing to go along with that, because anything that gets kids to read they're happy with, the librarians are at least happy with. But there probably should be more competition there. But that has nothing to do with this game, so let's start playing. We'll pick a first save file. This isn't an extremely long game. And we're going to name our character. It's been a while since I played a game where you've named a character. And we can pick a gender. Okay, let's see. What do I want to play as? Do I want to play as a boy or a girl? What this always boils down for me is, what do I want to look at? A male avatar or a female avatar? I think I'm gonna pick the female just to see if there's actually any gender pronouns even used in this game, or any different reaction there here, because I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't, and all you see is just this silhouette, and it's a quick and dirty change. I think for kids game, I'm gonna have to read. This guy creeps me out. We better get out of here. If you're that concerned, maybe you try not to drop his stuff. Hey, for all we know, the lock you got busted before I dropped it. I've heard that before. Whatever, just finish packing up this junk and I'll head home. That was way too fast with no buttons pressing to move forward. Who hires a moving company of men there? Just be glad someone did. We needed this job. So what about that girl? Should I call her or not? The toll booth operator? You ain't got a chance. It was probably for the best anyway. What about on the road? Say, you ever get creeped out by driving late at night like this? What do you mean? Oh, you know, it's late. Everyone's asleep. It's gotta be things slinking about. This is better not be haunted. I'm missing things. Real, maybe, but not haunted. Well, it seems haunted at the time. You can't scare me with that story. Already heard it a million times. Well, good. That's not even the hairiest adventure. Evil genie? Heard that one. Okay, well. Zombies? Guess I told you a lot of those. We don't gotta talk the whole time, you know. What was that? So I've missed like half of the dialogue. So you're gonna open it? It's just moving by so fast. Oh, it ain't opening it. But there's so much weird stuff there. You saw it. Just open the door already. I'm gonna try to get through this, but I'm gonna recommend everybody click back in this video to the beginning of the section. Satisfied look at the new idea. Not funny. There's someone in there. What is it? Some kid? See, this is the Goosebumps spooky ventriloquist doll. Oh haha, what? It's just a ventriloquist dummy. Who you calling dummy? So yeah, the ventriloquist dummy the next day is probably the most popular of the, or well known of the Goosebumps series. Okay, so take a moment now if you want to know that text, because I missed more than half of that text. To go back, if you click on the gear on YouTube, you can change the playback speed and you can reduce it to like half speed or quarter speed. Or yeah, I would say go half speed, quarter speed, go back to the beginning, play that section again. That was in every single way horrible. There's no way a kid who is new at reading and who's going to be slow would have gotten all of that. I'm not a super good speed reader, but I'm a pretty good speed reader, and I still didn't get half of the. Now this was a like 2015 game too, so I'm recording this in 2018. There's no argument that you can make that this was moving really fast because it was actually made for computers a decade ago, and my CPU processor is just so fast it was moving that forward. There's just no polish there. That it's just awful. That was really, really bad foot to start this story on. The good news is, I suppose, now that we are actually into the game, it is flashing a down arrow, which tells me I have to click to move the story forward, and we can do that. But before you do that, I'm going to say stop right here, go back if you want to see the story, and then come back to this point. Okay, now that anybody who's done that has done that, let's move forward. Man, that really, really bad way to start a game. And why not have, for this movie, which this game is pretty much just a movie tie-in. We've seen a lot of that happening, and it seems like it's going to happen more often. In fact, WayForward went on to make The Mummy Demystified as a movie tie-in for the Mummy reboot movie, which was a flop movie, and they released the game like 6 months after the movie came out. But then The Mummy Demystified is actually a really good game from all I hear. So, from just reviewers out there. So, yeah, WayForward tries to do a good job. But almost every instance I've seen of a movie tie-in video game, it has been extremely, extremely bad. There might be a slight exception in kind of a trailer, an interactive trailer that is in, I believe, Portal 2 for the movie Cloverfield, which is a little weird, certainly, because you're walking around and looking at that, but that's kind of it. Everything else doesn't make any sense at all. It seems like movie companies just want to waste money to do their Hollywood accounting instead of making good games, which that sucks. But it might be the step towards a future where people like WayForward could pitch an idea of a game and say, hey, let's put it in the universe of your movie, and then both will cross promote each other. You could certainly see some of that happening. However, it hasn't really succeeded yet. The Tomb Raider movies, which are tie-ins to Tomb Raider games, have been probably the best movie tie-ins, whereas the Assassin's Creed movie failed. Several other movies that I can't even remember that there were such non-instances in my life have happened, certainly. The Doom movie, yeah, and then more recently there was a Rampage movie that also kind of didn't really tie into the Rampage video game. There was no new Rampage video game that came out towards that. Anyways, that's a lot of setup. Finally, school's out for the day. You're ready for a pleasant walk home. Those clouds look pretty bad, though. Was it supposed to rain today? So it seems like you're a latchkey kid. If I was to guess anything, you have a key in your inventory on the right, and you're walking home from school, which to me would imply a relatively small town and probably set in not present day, because in 2018 people are so paranoid that they won't let kids walk home or bike home, even though they'd probably be just as safe as they ever were. And it also implies that the character is closer to 4th, 5th, 6th grade, mid-school, junior high, high school type level. I doubt this is straight up 1st grade, 2nd grade, or kindergarten student, which this would be the target demographic for the Goosebumps series. Ghost Books, interesting name for a series, would be somewhere around 4th, 5th, 6th grade. I clicked forward. It went forward with the left mouse button. Good. You go to check the weather, but your cell phone appears to be missing. You must have left it somewhere, but where? So you have a cell phone, which puts it closer to a more modern time than I would have guessed, but you lost it. Inherently, in most games and movies, getting rid of the cell phone solves a lot of problems. You examine the environment by moving the cursor over objects or area, and pressing the left mouse button to look. Pressing the left mouse button, then choosing look on the drop down. Okay. So this is a typical human thing to do. Let's look for our cell phone. Move your cursor using the mouse and select the area of interest with the left mouse button. Not all objects can be examined, but most can. Look for everything. Look at everything. You never know what might yield useful information. So the drop-down menu is your verb menu, and it changes based on the object. This is good old-fashioned point-and-click adventure, done in a certainly different way. Usually the inventory is at the bottom, not taking up a significant portion of the right screen, or it would be hidden most of the time. And it seems like they've broken up this world, every scene, quite a lot, because the dripping cursor, let's see, if you want to use keyboard, you can look at things directly by pressing Q, or interact with pressing E. That's not really the intended way to play this. So this dripping green cursor seems like it's an indicator that you can interact with something. You eat lunch with your friends on this planner. It's surprisingly comfortable. Interesting. Seems like the... Right, so I'm now clicking on basically nothing, and I see nothing. Let's see, let's look in the bushes. You part the branches and peer inside. Nope, your phone's not here. Are these bushes different? Nope. Can't do anything with the flag. I can look at the sky. Gray clouds shroud the area under a threat of rain. Wasn't it clear this morning? Generally speaking, I would like to have some voice acting in most games, particularly kids games. This is supposed to be around reading, and so I can kind of overlook that. But when we start getting to the characters talking, I think I would have preferred some talking, some voice acting. Get Jack Black in here. Yeah, I'm sure he'd be willing to do it. It's a bike rack. You prefer walking to school, so you can take the shortcut through the woods. Apparently I can push the bike rack. You push the bike rack, it doesn't push back. So I could go, it seems this way, or I can go this way. And I can't look at the school itself. Let's look at the entrance. Doors, school building, kids were spreading out of it moments ago. They're probably halfway home by now. To move between areas, select the exit at the left mouse button, and then move from the drop-down menu. Push the door opens. Will you ever escape this place? Nope, you're gonna have to go back in. With a heavy sigh, you trudge back inside. A long empty hallway stretches in the distance. You stop near your locker. Trusty old 402. What is this, by the way? Locker key. Key to your locker. It's easy. You keep it easily accessible at all times. That way you have more time between classes to chat with friends. So, yeah, I'm not sure why. Use the locker key on your locker. I don't know why they had you pick a gender when you're not even seeing your silhouette for most of this. You turn the key and the lock pops open easily. You slide it off and open your locker. Here is your phone. Take your phone. You were afraid you lost it. After a moment, you come down and check your phone. Yep, it's still fully charged somehow. Looks like you have a voicemail. You click play. Hi Rydo, it's Mom. I just wanted to let you know I'll be home later on tonight. The clients want to take us to dinner. Chad should be home pretty soon, so you two will need to fend for yourselves. Remember, the key's under the back steps. Love you. So, had you just ignored you heft a few books out of the locker but realize how much space they take up in your bag. You feel like it might need bag space and put the bags back where you got them. So you put these stickers on at the start of the year and you're already sick of them. Your brother was right. The only thing more prominent than tattoos are stickers. Stick carefully. Let's see. Stickers, stickers, stickers. Books. There are multiple ways to move between areas. Try holding down the arrow keys or to exit the hallway. Well, I'm not interested in that. These are all the books you don't need for homework. So it doesn't seem like you're gonna have too many options, though. Slam your locker shut. Let's see. Look at lockers. These still lockers are students home away from home. You've heard they can hold an entire freshman, but you wouldn't know firsthand. Breaking into someone else's locker is a serious offense. You spend enough time at school today without adding detention. So let's look at this paper. Someone left crumpled paper in the hall. Let's go and take it. Oh, it looks like a note. An item was added to your inventory. You can select it with the left mouse button. Use it on the environment to solve puzzles and progress. Once straightened out, the note reads, "Hey, you found my note. I hope that you would. Sometimes people see notes in the hall and just assume they're all trash. Not you, though." Look at this locker. This happened the day Roger forgot his locker combination. Fortunately, yours is easy to remember. Insert key in turn. So why would lockers be of different styles? Always wonder how soon the janitor showed up left for school. Well, not this soon apparently. A boat sign. can look at the clock. It's 3:20. You've wasted practically your entire afternoon. And then there's like a photo stuck up here, and these signs, and this door. We'll check it out tomorrow. It's home time. Another door looms at the far end of the hall. You aren't quite sure what's behind the stairs, maybe. So, in a point-and-click adventure, generally speaking, you want to exhaust everything. Having a locker so close to math is more of a curse than a blessing. You end up seeing a lot of Miss Tooley. Let's see. House is seriously the last place you feel like going right now. Very loud knocks to the hall. What in the world do you want? It sounds like Miss Tooley can't. The woman read in peace. Quietly slink away from the door and hope she didn't see you. Okay, so how do you escape this? You go downward here. Outside. You gladly leave the school building for the second time today. In front of the school, the gates are still open, so you should be able to come and go as you need. With your phone in hand, you can now head home. Your phone has a map function to chart your journey. You can also call your mother, brother, or information to receive various hints. Okay, so is Chad our brother or our mother? Well, well, that's a dumb question. Of course, is Chad our brother was what I was thinking of asking, but seems like what we've got here is an instance of a point-and-click adventure game where we're going to have, I don't know if this is actually going down when I'm clicking on it or what. Maybe I have to hit the arrow keys downward. Like it doesn't seem like that was working at all. Didn't seem like that was scrolling downward. Just holding down the down arrow. Nothing's happening. Clicking the down arrow all in a bunch, and it's not doing anything. So I guess maybe the vast majority of all the movement will take place in the middle of the map. And each one of these will be a scene, and since they're relatively small, you can see that there's probably close to 9 or 10 up this way, and I would say there's probably close to 12 around this direction. So if this just becomes a full grid, you have a good chance of it being a 120 scenes, which is not too bad. Let's see if we use this. Use cell phone. You use it on something. Your cell phone's remained unscratched thus far, and you intend to keep it that way. Like, there's some weirdness here why students would be allowed to bring cell phones. Maybe I guess some schools would let you keep them in your locker, and then take them with you when you go home, but not use them in class, I guess. That is a slight thought. Let's see if we call our brother. Dial your brother's number. Chad is your brother. Hi, you reached Chad, except for you've also missed Chad, sorry. I'm probably busy doing something important, or at least something, whatever it is. You could leave a message though, that'd be cool. I might call you back if I remember. Okay, so we now know Chad is our brother, and you walk through the gates and into the parking lot. School parking lot is nearly empty. As most of the school's gone home, you can faintly hear the football team practicing in the distance though. So in what can only be described as a slow start, probably mostly my fault. Like, I'm always slow to start these series. We've made it through 3 scenes, and that's it. What I don't see up here is any indicator of a menu system. So it must just be auto-saving everywhere, and I would be a little afraid to hit escape and try to see if that just auto-saved. I'm noticing when I put the cursor at the top, my regular mouse cursor starts appearing, so there seems like there's a slight pixel discrepancy between the internal canvas of what the game is showing you and the actual resolution that the screen is at. It doesn't really seem like that happens when you're at the bottom, although it might. Although, you know, sometimes yeah, on the left it's also doing that, and then can't really see on the right or down at below. Interesting. So it's possible that there's like a 1 pixel wide border around the screen. Not a big deal. A slow start for the Goosebumps movie, certainly, and I don't feel like the Goosebumps movie was a slow start in the first place. I also would throw out a thought here. Why not have you play as either the girl or the boy, and then have the sibling, maybe this will be what happens, be your sidekick who follows you around and is obsessed with Goosebumps and knows everything that's happening when we start running into the Goosebumps monsters. Because yeah, if the Goosebumps movie was for the love of the Goosebumps book series, which I think it was, and this is also for the love of the Goosebumps book series, we kind of need somebody on the screen that says, boy, I love the Goosebumps series. That's what happened in the movies. There was definitely a character that loved the book series. Right now, though, having put probably about 15 minutes into the game, it's been a slow start. Finding your cell phone as a tutorial element doesn't seem like it was something you needed to do, because we are going to make our way to the house and then have to find the house keys, and we would have had to check our messages on the cell phone anyway. So had we just started the game in front of our house with the cell phone, we would have already known where the house key is and still gone through the same basic tutorial actions. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. If you want a friend to follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, Facebook, or battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, I'm asking people to friend me on Steam and gift me a game or a gift card. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.